Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to wherever the hell you are in this world. As you know, I'm in Australia. Stephen is in America. Somewhere in the UK, someone is watching along. And if not, they're watching it for the first time. We have a few in the chat already. We have Anastasia in the chat with a volcano, and that doesn't show here for some reason. We have Austin here. Thank you for joining, Austin. It's great to see you. We also have
The only Twitcher.
our Twitch guard. Our Twitch guard is here, Alex. And yes, the handsome King Stephen is here, so you're not wrong.
Oh, thank you, Austin. I didn't know you care, man.
How are you doing, Stephen?
I am doing all right, buddy. How you been doing?
I'm alive, breathing in here, ready for another episode of the 5-year review. As you people may or may not know, we are here to do the 5-year review, and we are here for the pure fact of AEW Dynamite being on 5 years on TV. So this week we are discussing the Winter is Coming episode from 2020. So might as well get straight into it because obviously this is it's the biggest episode to date for AEW in regards to start time, like from the start through till when they were doing it. Look. Hey, Courtney, nice to see you. And no, ABJ is not here. I think he's busy playing Call of Duty. A slacker.
Well, I want to thank ABJ for filling in, even though he picked on me for a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate him.
I appreciate him for filling in for me.
I appreciate him. Now, to let everybody know, I will not be able to do the post show this coming Wednesday. However, I have offered Stephen to do it if he wants to, and if he wants to get a co-host, or if there's someone that wants to join him, they're more than welcome to do so. So,
yeah,
I'll happily help him set it all up and get it ready to go, and then you can go from there if you want to. That's if you want to do it, Stephen.
Well, I'll think about it, my friend.
Yeah, let's pretty much get straight into this. We start the show, obviously, with the Dynamite, and it starts off with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal, which is the first of the first Dynamite Diamond ring that they offer. And this is not for the Dynamite Diamond. It determines the two competitors who are going to face off for the Dynamite Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
Hey, I enjoyed that Battle Royal. I really do. And I enjoyed it. I think they're doing it every year, aren't they?
I believe so. I believe so. You missed it, Tony, with text box saying it's Sting. Yes, I did. I didn't get a chance to caption that, and I didn't get a chance to capture it either. So, but that will become that we'll talk about in a later point. Where the hell are my notes? There they are. Okay, so we need to take into note that this is still during the COVID era. They're still in Jacksonville at this point in time. They have allowed a few fans in, but they still have the wrestlers at ringside as well. So
imagine the pop, though, if it wasn't the pandemic, though.
If the pandemic had not have happened, I think this would have been an absolute jaw-dropping moment for the fans.
Yeah.
This show where that thing happens. But we start the show with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. Notable names in it: Miro, Matt Hardy, Hangman, Scorpio, Jungle Boy, MJF, Sammy Guevara, Orange Cassidy, and Shawn Spears. Not that really Shawn Spears is notable in regards to his AEW run, but he was for this Battle Royal. It's your standard Battle Royal. You don't get your big spots. You don't get major things. Basically, to note the big things, Matt Hardy eliminates couple of members of Private Party. Hey, Mark, nice to see you there. You're coming across. It's good to see you.
How you doing, buddy?
But we get Matt Hardy eliminating Private Party, one of the members of Private Party, who he had just taken on as a tag team at this point in time. Hangman was obviously teaming, or not teaming, but aligned with Dark Order as well. So we had that. The takeaway at the end of this show, the takeaway at the end of, or the end of this match was the fact that we had MJF and Wardlow in the ring, thinking that they were the last two. Orange Cassidy was still in the match. So MJF celebrates too early, thinking it was just him and Wardlow. Orange Cassidy gets back in the ring. Superman punches Wardlow, ends up eliminating Wardlow, and it ends up being MJF versus Orange Cassidy next week for the Dynamite Diamond ring. Say that. Thank you, Mark. We will try to have a great show. So it will be MJF versus Orange Cassidy next week for the Dynamite Diamond ring. What did you think of this match coming across?
Hey, I'm fine with it. It's going to be a good match.
Yeah. I thought, like, obviously battle royals are a very, very hard thing to gauge because you're not going to get in any big spots. You're not going to get major things happening in a battle royal. So I thought it was good to have the big notable names of the company in the match at the time, and I think it worked really well. Obviously, we were building to what we get for the next week's show.
Well, not only that, though, let's see what Wardlow was all about, too, in that match, too.
Yeah. We then move on to the second match of the night, which is... This match here, Frankie Kazarian versus Chris Jericho.
It's a good match.
Look, this was Painmaker gimmick Jericho. This was his Painmaker era. This is where he'd done his work with Japan, and it. I'm just saying I'm not following the script, and if I'm supposed to be thrown out, I'm throwing out the guy who's supposed to be winning dipping. Sounds about right. About right. This match, Frankie Kazarian versus Jericho, was good because Jericho was still in his Painmaker era. He wasn't as gassed as he is now. And I'm going to get a lot of shit from Mark on that one because he thinks that Jericho's the GOAT.
A pain in the ass.
We do get Ortiz trying to interrupt the match. Then I'm going to make Tony fear for his life. Who said he's the GOAT? He is the GOAT. How dare you? See, I told you.
Oh, Lord.
We all know Jericho needs to say, come on, Stephen, can you do it for me?
Bye, guys.
Look, I like Jericho. I appreciate the work he's done for the company. I think he's done brilliantly for the company. Do I want him on my TV screens every week? No. I think give him ROH when you file a complaint. That depends. That depends.
I forgot he's a big Jericho fan. Hey, look at who's here.
He's here as well. Nah, give him Dark. Oh, wait. Can't give him Dark. I think that Jericho is still good. Still has potential. I think him winning the ROH title, obviously they're trying to shop ROH to a TV network. So
Yeah.
that's clearly what that's for. If it keeps him on ROH and gets him away from AEW for a bit, fantastic. Let people forget him and let him just stay over there and stay relevant to ROH and build that brand for the time being. For the time being.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to what we were discussing here with Jericho and Frankie Kazarian. Ortiz does try to interrupt at one point. Yes, Jericho is supposed to make ROH great again.
Only time will tell.
Channeling his inner Trump. MJF comes out of the backstage area with a towel, ready to throw that in the ring. But Sammy Guevara comes out and takes the towel off him. Jericho ends up winning the match with the Judas effect, which he's only just recently added to his arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts, feelings, emotions on the match?
It was a good match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Wish they would book more Frankie Kazarian as far as while he was in AEW, but what is what it is.
Yeah. In all fairness, he'd already been wrestling for almost 20 years at this point. Mm-hmm. So he hadn't, but I get where you're coming from. He definitely hadn't had the push that he had in TNA and stuff like that. So it's a bit, it would have been better for him and Christopher Daniels to be pushed and seen as a major tag team or a major part of that division. Yes, I know that they were the first tag team champions. Doesn't matter. I still think that they need to. They should have used him a bit better. Mm-hmm. After the match, we get Sammy and MJF getting into a shoving match because obviously Sammy doesn't trust MJF.
Yeah.
Jericho gets on the microphone and basically berates the Inner Circle and then says that they have 7 days for an ultimatum, whether they're in or out. And the next week on Dynamite, we'll see whether or not they stay together.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good segment for what it was. Next, you'll have a toupee and then a blue suit with a red tie and shitty spray tan, making ROH great again. You're not wrong.
Hey, I need that toupee more than Jericho now. Come on.
We go back. So we go backstage to Alex Marvez interviewing the Young Bucks, who are the tag team champions at this point, who will be facing TH2 next week. The Acclaimed interrupt. This is the Acclaimed have only just signed with the company at this point, I believe, and are pretty new to the company. They interrupt, so they're heels. The TH2 ends up attacking the Young Bucks alongside Caster and Bowens. Daniels and Kazarian end up making the save as they're coming back from the ringside area.
Excuse me, Raz, for a moment, okay?
Sure.
I'll be right back.
Sure. So in that segment, I think it was obviously setting up a tag team title match for the next week for TH2, who were a great team. I think very underutilized in regards to wrestling. And in their time in AEW, I think that they started out strong, especially at shows like All In and the early shows. But I think we just suffered here because of the booking, and we had to change. We had teams that they needed to set for the shows and stuff.
Sorry about that, guys.
Welcome back, Stephen. It's all good.
In case you guys wondering why I had to leave, I have to check on my mom from time to time. She's recovering from a stroke, so
no need to explain, my friend. It's understandable. You got to do what you got to do. We go to our next match of the night, which is Britt Baker versus Layla Hirsch. Layla Hirsch, obviously being Russian-born here. She'd been in the company for a while. She was starting to make a name for herself at this point. What did you think of fucking hell? I was here making the podcast great again. Fucking Christ. Over on Twitch, you are, yes. We appreciate it. Good showing.
Hirsch, yeah, it was a good match, Baker and Hirsch. I think she was first debuted, I think, wasn't she?
I think she debuted like a couple of weeks beforehand. But she came in and she was a good, strong woman. Like, she was a strong, talented woman, and unfortunately, they never did anything after her injury, because she copped an injury, and it took her out. And after the injury, she just didn't really get to shine again. She didn't get the chance to shine again. I think we had a lot of differences in the women's division when she came back, and she just wasn't able to get back up there. And they turned her heel.
I think she's in Ring of Honor now.
Yeah, I think they turned her heel in AEW, and I don't think it worked for her character at the time.
Yeah.
But yes, Alex, she has.
It may be part of your contract, but you're gonna be stuck in catering, my friend. Sorry.
We don't fire someone due to their political beliefs on this show. We don't care about people's political beliefs at the end of the day. Believe what you want to.
All I can say is I'll be tickled that this election be over with. Gee whiz.
Look, at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody's political beliefs are. As long as you're good to me, I'm good to you. That's all that matters. Like, you can believe what you want.
That's what we need around here. Just so much hate, Yeah.
C. Henry's here. Thank you for joining us, C. Henry.
Howdy, C. Henry.
Alex said he doesn't care either in regards to political beliefs. Look, I get that some people do have political beliefs and they will stand true to them and cut people off. I understand that. But I'm not that type of person. I'm more about the person that I'm talking with, or the person that I'm friends with.
Yep.
If you're my friend, you're my friend. That's what it comes down to. I just love when he says, and it's easy to twist into whatever I want, especially in the wrestling things. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Cool. So Baker ends up getting the win with this match with the lockjaw. Literally, as the bell rings, Thunder Rosa attacks Baker straight after the match, and we're building to a feud between Baker and Thunder Rosa.
Building up that cage match.
Human rights and hating people for the things they can control is important to me. Understand that, ABJ.
Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
Everybody has the right to live and exist, and I personally don't want to get into politics on this right now, because politics can divide friendships, but I can also understand where people are coming from. Can't control. Yeah, 100%. And look, everybody has the right to exist. Everybody has the right to freedom. Everybody has the right to love who they love, or be who they want to be. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to stop that. I don't want to stop that.
Yeah.
We're setting up to Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker here. I believe in the near future we get the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker lights out match.
The lights out cage match.
I think so. I think we get the lights out cage match, and then we also get the St. Patrick Day. No, that's a St. Patrick's Day Slam. So
Oh, a
that's
month
not
or
till
so from now, isn't it? It's about the month after winter's coming.
no, because St. Patrick's
It's 2
Day
months.
is in like March of
Yeah.
2021.
So I'm wrong
So
there.
it's a little while. They build to a decent feud.
Yeah.
But I think we get the lights out cage match first. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to look that up. We move on from that match to the one, two. Is it the third match? No, the fourth match of the night. The fourth match of the night, which is this one here. Team Taz of Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs versus Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin. Obviously, Darby Allin is your TNT champion here. He's got the red belt with the gold on it. There you go, mate. March 17th is generally St. Patrick's Day. So there
Yeah.
you go.
There you go.
Darby ends up winning the match after a coffin drop. It's a solid back and forth match the whole time.
Yeah, good sequence. Cody with the Cody finisher. His finisher.
Yep,
Then
Cody Cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cody Cutter and stuff. I do have to say here, one thing I noticed that there was a fuck up here. When Darby has Starks pinned, he pulls his head up, but he pulls the shoulders off the mat at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, Starks wasn't pinned.
That was Darby.
Technically, that match is still going.
Yeah.
So it is technically probably the longest match that AEW's ever had. Because if you go back and watch it, you will see that Darby doesn't have the shoulders pinned down.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, after the match, Hobbs attacks Darby, and then they turn on Arn Anderson. Starks and Hobbs attack Arn Anderson, and Dustin comes out, and then Brian Cage comes out to take him out. Hobbs attempts to hit Cody with the FTW belt, but as the lights go out, and then we get the Titantron or the big screen moment, and this man makes his debut.
And Tony Schiavone goes, "It's Steve."
Yes, he did. The biggest signing that AEW has up to this point, bar none. Like, yes, you have Omega. Yes, you have Jericho. Yes, you have all the talent from New Japan. But this is the biggest signing that he has brought into the company at this point in time. Sting walks around the ring. He gets face to face with Arn Anderson. Then he goes and sits down Cody and Dustin, and then gets in Darby's face before leaving the ring. Overrated. I know your feelings on the situation there, ABJ. I know that you don't like that. You were never a Sting fan, but I
think he's a Punk. That they CM Punk's probably the best signing.
I think that Punk was the biggest signing, obviously, in regard after Sting. Like, Sting was the biggest name to come to the company at that point in time.
Yeah.
Punk's signing was huge because Punk had been out so long and hadn't been part of wrestling. I think we all know the problems that went down with Punk, and we're not going to discuss that here, right? That'll come at another point.
Another night, another day.
There you go. He was, and then Tony started fearing for his life. Not wrong. We'll talk about that another night. We'll eventually end up doing an episode called "The Rise and Fall of CM Punk in AEW." But that will be a while.
Yeah, it will be.
We get to so Sting has made his debut. It was fantastic. It was I popped. Being a Sting fan, I definitely popped.
Same here.
I loved it, and I remember being on the phone. I called my mum, and it was just like, I've turned the volume up on the TV. I'm like, listen, and she's like, what? And I'm like, I'll send you a video. Hold on. And then I video called her, and I think we video called on Skype, and I turned my camera around and showed her the video of Sting debuting in AEW.
Yeah, I followed Sting's career all the way back before he was in NWA back in the day.
Oh wow! Yep.
Yeah, a long time ago. He was in UWF, and he was in Memphis Wrestling for a short time with Jim Heldwig, aka the Ultimate Warrior. And sorry, I had to bring up his name.
We'll do that for the episode where we do the history of CM Punk. So
I need to buy me a neck brace. Put it on the say.
Sell the injury. Sell the injury.
We move on. His life.
We move on from Sting. We come back and from a commercial break, and they show a video saying that Sting, the next week, Sting will be interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Mm-hmm. Well, no, it says Sting speaks, and Jim Ross says Tony Schiavone should do that, and Tony Schiavone says, "Hell yeah, I'll do it."
I really think Jim Ross should have done it though, because Jim was there before Tony was.
You're not wrong, but I think because Sting and Tony Schiavone have so much history with each other, it was probably a better situation. We go backstage to Hikaru Shida, who is the AEW Women's World Champion at this point. Apparently being scared of Abaddon. She's doing an interview. They hear a noise, and then we find out that there's going to be a match next week or something with Abaddon, and
I will be too.
We then get to a Moxley video package, just hyping up the night or the match that he's about to have, and this is where this section is like different little bits just to fill the gap until we get to the main event. So it's only little bits. We then get to the main event, which is this Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Look, what can we say about this match?
Great match. I enjoyed the match until the ending, though.
Yeah. You have Don Callis on commentary. Obviously, we're setting up something here.
Before he had that scar on his forehead.
Yep, before he had his Harry Potter scar, as I like to call it. So before he has his Harry Potter scar, we have Callis here. Kenny and Moxley are working well together. They're going really good together. It's noted that Moxley's never been pinned in AEW. They fight on the outside. They fight inside the ring. We get to the obvious spot of the match where Kenny gets thrown into the heaters on the outside. Mm-hmm. And that's where Don Callis comes down. And Moxley ends up throwing Kenny back into the ring. After that, they brawl a little, they fight a little bit, and then Callis is on the microphone saying he's hurt. Callis gets pushed by Moxley, drops the microphone. And Kenny picks it up and then busts Moxley open with it, hitting him in the head. Hits multiple V triggers and then the one-winged angel, and we get 1, 2, 3, and then this. Kenny is your brand new AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep.
Tony Schiavone is going mental at this point because he's like, "What? They had a gentleman's agreement. What happened to the gentleman's agreement?" JR is going, "They've screwed us," and like, there's been shenanigans.
Yeah, JR basically saying they're leaving like scolded dogs.
Yeah. We then get them leaving the arena and ringside area, going through the back. We see Tony Khan yelling at both of them. They run past a few wrestlers and they're yelling at them. They get to the back parking lot, and we have Alex Marvez come up and go, what just happened? And then Don Callis announces that Kenny Omega will end him. Not true. And he wasn't fearing for his life. Yep. We get Don Callis announcing that Kenny Omega and himself will appear on Tuesday on Impact Wrestling, and they'll explain all then. So this is the start of the TNA or the Impact Wrestling AEW crossover.
Yeah.
The one that put a big set of numbers of eyes onto Impact at the time.
Yeah.
And Scott D'Amore has come out and said that Kenny's workings with AEW, or the working with AEW and Impact, put more eyes on it than what he's seen or what he knows of compared to what WWE's NXT crossover has done.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's all for another story.
I do enjoy the crossover, though, TNA and AEW.
Yeah. It lasts for a little while. We get Kenny ending up winning the Impact World title and the TNA title, because for some reason the two belts are completely different. Don't know how that works.
A couple matches he put both titles on the line too.
Yeah. He ends up having like 4 different belts at one stage because he still had the AAA. I think he had the AAA Mega belt as well.
He was also the AAA champion. Yep.
So he became. This is the start of belt collector Kenny. I know he drops one of the belts to Christian Cage. He ends up dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't able to return to work for Impact, so that's why he ended up dropping it to Christian Cage.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually, I remember Scott D'Amore saying that he dropped the belts because Kenny was not able to work for do the work for Impact at the time. So
hard for him to travel to different shows, though.
Yeah, I think he was back in Canada and stuck in Canada for a while, so he wasn't really able to work the shows.
Yeah,
and obviously COVID was impacting as well. He does end up dropping both belts, yes, but he drops one to Christian, and the other one is to.
Was it to Hangman? Was it to Moose? I thought it was Hangman.
No. I know he loses the AEW title to Hangman, but they're both Christian. Because Christian Christian wins the TNA, and okay, maybe, I don't know. I don't really remember too much, but what we're going to do is we're going to open it up here. If you guys have any questions or comments or thoughts,
or any episode requests.
Yeah. There you go. First night of Rampage, he beats them for both titles. There you go.
Yep. Was it at the Battle of the Belts, maybe?
No, it was the first night of Rampage. The first night of Rampage. Speaking of that, we should watch the first episode of Rampage. Could do, but we'll do that on another time. Let's have a look. What is there any episodes that you guys want to suggest that we
Yeah,
look
the
at?
rise and fall of AEW Rampage.
Because technically, there's two first episodes. There's two first episodes with AEW Rampage. There's the actual first episode of Rampage, and then there's the Rampage First Dance,
Yeah.
which is also the second biggest. Well, essentially what became the biggest, but the second biggest signing in that time frame, because obviously that's CM Punk. Any episodes that you guys would want to go back over or have a look at? What do you think, Stephen?
Well, we got one planned for next week, right?
Yep. So next week we're going to be doing. What we're going to do is we're going to do a continuation from this week. We're going to do the 5-year review, episode 50. So the week after Winter is Coming is what we're going to watch. This is the one where Sting speaks for the first time in like 20 years or something like that.
I think it'd be pretty cool to do a continuation of that, you know?
Yeah. So this is the only time we're going to be doing a week, like 2 weeks in a row situation.
Yeah. We're doing next Sting. That's the only reason.
Yeah, this is just because there's the Sting interview, and it's also the fact of Kenny Omega and stuff like that, so that we can get that up to date as well. So
yeah,
we believe that date is, what date was that? That was December 10th. Yeah, December 10th, 2020. I just had to look that up to make sure. So we're going to be watching episode 50 of 2020. That is the night that we get Sting. Jericho has a match against Orange Cassidy. No, is it Orange Cassidy? No, Jericho gives
MJF's wrestling Orange Cassidy.
Sorry, MJF is wrestling Orange Cassidy. Yeah. Jericho gives his ultimatum. Kenny is obviously there because he's the world champion at this point, and Sting gets to speak for the first time in God knows how long since he's been in AEW. If you guys have any thoughts or suggestions for episodes, please don't hesitate to let us know. You can join the Discord. We do have a Discord. I really should be putting this straight in a bloody link that give me a second. Copy. There we go. Okay, here is the Discord link if you want to join it. Come and join us. We are here. We are there most days. If you do have a suggestion, don't hesitate to write it in the wrestling section of the Discord, or I can put a channel in there as well that says for suggestions. Other than that, anything else you want to discuss from this episode, Stephen?
No, sir.
No?
It's been a good episode. That Winter's Coming.
It was good. The pacing was a bit awkward on this one. I think that they were struggling to get the pacing right because of the segments that they needed to do and how they needed to get to the main event with time frame. They struggled with time frame there because you had small segments and there was points where they went off to look at the rafters and stuff like that, and to random things where it wasn't right. So, yeah.
But I think from the scale 1 to 5, I favor a 3. Pick a 3. 3 out of 5.
Yeah. I'd say a 3.2, maybe, just because of the Sting debut.
Yeah.
I'd say a 3.2, maybe even a 3.5, just because of Sting's debut.
3.5 because of Sting. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I But yeah, other than that, we are going to get out of here. I have been Raz. That has been Stephen. And Stephen is going to take us out of this stream with...
Sorry, I meant that.
Come on.
Bye, guys.